This is Las Vegas Real Estate Now with local real estate expert Harvey Blankfeld.
Where we want to educate you about our market, empower you to make wise decisions, and help you engage with our expert contributors. Leilani, before the break, I was mentioning how I saw an article in the paper this past week in the RJ by Michael Scott Davidson. And it's titled, Nevadans Older, More Diverse. This is a census estimate, which is, I don't know what that is, but it's a pre-census census, I guess.
Pre-census census.
Because in 2020 is the next, they do the census every 10 years. They
Yes.
do a census every 10 years. So this is kind of like they're projecting what it's going to be. And they're looking at numbers, and they're saying that Nevada's older. And said our median age has increased by about 1.7 years this decade.
Wow.
That's a lot in a 10-year period for your age to increase by that much.
Does it give you the average age?
Nevada's at 38.1.
Wow.
Where we were back in 2010, we were 36.4. And that was apparently before we're still slightly below the national average, but we're getting older. It says between 2010 and 2018, the Silver State saw its retirement age population grow by more than 149,000 people. Close to 1 in 6 Nevada residents are now age 65 or older. It says aging will be a big factor in the changing consumption patterns for goods and services and needs in government services. State demographer Jeff Hardcastle said there will be an increasing demand on health care. Yeah. We're getting older. We're going to need
We're
more.
gonna need it.
We're going to need more doctors and nurses and stuff. Nevada's population as a whole grew by more than 330,000 people from 2010 to 2018. The state's growth rate, about 12%, was double the national rate of around 6%. Much of the local growth has been due to in-migration from other states and abroad, but a lot of it, is California.
Right.
We know that a lot of people are coming in from our state to the west because of a variety of reasons, natural disaster, taxes, and whatnot.
Right.
But we're also seeing a lot of retirees come to Nevada like we did before. Some of the other articles I found interesting this past week. One was about Lake Mead, which I found interesting. It says, this is by Henry Breen, also and from the RJ. And it says, a wet winter and deal boosts lake forecasts. And what they're saying is the outlook for Lake Mead continues to improve as federal forecasters factor in the benefits from an unusually wet winter and a new interstate drought deal that will leave more water in the reservoir.
Really?
Instead of the familiar declines in recent decades, the lake east of Las Vegas is now expected to finish the year slightly higher than it's now, according to the latest estimates from the Bureau of Reclamation. The news is not all good, but it's good. It also says they haven't factored in Mexico's contribution to this because they did a new pact. They basically said, hey, everybody's got to slow down their water usage out of the Colorado. And Mexico apparently agreed to this too, but that hasn't been factored in yet. So it might be even better than we thought.
Wow.
Mexico decides to do this. It says the Bureau expects the river to swell to about 144% of its average flow through July. And that's because of the snow melts into Lake Powell and the reservoir on the border formed by Glen Canyon Dam. That would make the second wettest year, just the 5th with above-average river flow since the current drought began in 2000. In the coming decades, climate scientists predict global warming could lead to prolonged droughts and diminished flows on the Colorado. For the moment, though, the news is good. And according to forecasters, this year's snowy winter and spring all but guarantee that the river won't see a shortage until 2021 at least. The other thing I wanted to talk about was solar today. And again, an article in the paper, this one by Bailey Schultz in the Las Vegas Review-Journal, basically says state solar on the rise. Nevada ranks third in amount of installation in the first quarter. And he goes in the article, he's talking about how the solar industry is enjoying a boom, but the growth might end as the amount of net metering credit continues to decline. What's happening is that NV Energy set up a deal where they're going to reduce the amount of credits back in net metering. And so for certain people who got in early, they're getting 100% back. If they create more energy than they need, they get a credit for that back from NV Energy. But what's happening is they're reducing the rate of that credit back down to 88% and eventually down to 75% of that value. So that, and the reason they're doing it is that they didn't want the people who could afford solar to cause the people who can't afford to put solar to have to pay more money for their electricity. And I understand that.
This has been Las Vegas Real Estate Now. Thanks for listening. And remember to tune in every Tuesday morning at 9 a.m. on 101.5 FM, 720 a.m. KDWN.